Alright, hello everyone, how are you all doing today? I myself am doing well. Glad I decided to check out the second episode of Stargirl because I actually watched a review of it first from As of Heel versus Babyface fame, and he seemed to suggest that Courtney as Stargirl during this episode did an unbelievable jump in skill level in the ending fight. Now, I love As, but I have a very different interpretation of the scene. Well, not very different, slightly different, maybe. So, I'll of course let you know when we get there. One thing that may bother some viewers, though, is how Courtney talks down to Pat throughout the episode. Although, I still think this is believable, too, because I have a niece who has a stepfather, and this is how she would talk to him if she could get away with it easily. Uh, just being a bit patronizing, but she is supposed to be 15 in the series, so I I think that it's fine. That being said, I do still give this show a recommendation to people who are interested. It's a reasonable story with rather decent effects that are actually of decent quality. So, our story picks up where the last episode ended, with Pat, the best character in the show, taking Courtney away from the fight and to his garage, where it seems like he really cleaned up after the one day he was in there compared to the last time. It's just incredibly clean compared to the last time we saw it. And he explains what Brainwave's power is exactly to her, uh, which is the psionics and stuff like that. He also explains what he was doing in taking his family into Blue Valley, um, while on the flip side, in a scene cut out of the CW version, the Brainwave takes the time to visit the magician of the Injustice League, where they reveal a bit about the power structure of their organization, which I'm sad to know who was cut out of the CW version because it's generally a pleasure to see the villains interact with each other. Of course, outside of dealing with Stargirl. But I also know the average viewer of the CW wouldn't care one way or another, so we can move back to Pat and Courtney discussing some history about the JSA, and it's here that you start to get a deeper understanding of what Pat lost, what it all meant to him, what it feels like to be the last survivor, yeah, why he built the robot, the concerns he has for his new family, which has probably just doubled, really, because he really was only following a trail and didn't expect to run into any of the villains so quickly. But as well, that doesn't mean he hasn't been preparing for a fight, i.e., the robot. Now, he isn't ready for Courtney to enter that battle with him, so when she suggests on trying to capture Brainwave, they end up bickering a bit and they get angry with each other after a little back and forth. It's here where I found myself, once again, really invested in these characters, especially when a sleepless Pat goes downstairs. They're back home, of course, to his basement, and after reviewing some files on Brainwave and some of the others, he gets spooked by some noises coming from the floor level, the ground level floor. Although this is another scene that gets cut out of the CW version, so him just being awake, going downstairs and such. With that, he does embark on a montage to the beat of a Johnny Cash song, um, the one where he steals a car over time, just one piece every day over the course of about what 10 years, and proves once again why Pat's the best character of the show. The man even cooks breakfast. God, do I enjoy him on screen. Although one thing that I'm not so sure of, it, well, I'm sure it's going to be a running joke, but I wish it wasn't. It's where Pat asks his son to watch his language, but honestly, the kid's cursing is very milk toast, so I don't laugh. Back at Brainwave's home, we explore the father son dynamic between him and his boy, the bully from the last episode, as well as Brainwave trying to test and draw out the power from his son, but it ultimately fails because his son, I suppose, doesn't know about his father's power, so he doesn't really give it a try himself. And with that, we go back to school where Courtney has brought Starman's costume for refitting, but unfortunately for her, she finds out that the suit is made of stronger stuff than she anticipated. At first, she tried to cut it with scissors, and the scissors break in just one try. And I found myself enjoying the tone and the humor, but not so much the music of the scene. But it's not like it's a bad song, just not what I generally choose to listen to. After the bit, we find ourselves in the third scene cut out from the CW version. A very basic character introduction, so I have to mention this character shows up again at the end. So on my first viewing, which was the watching the CW version, I was confused as to who exactly he was. And he's the boss to Courtney's mother. It's also our first genuine scene with Courtney's mother on her own. So that's kind of annoying to see that gone. But she hasn't really been that big of a character yet. So uh, I suppose we don't have to worry about that. Past that, and Pat decides to check out the local gym. He's eating his sandwich here, and it promptly gets thrown into the trash. Some more good humor can happen, and it does happen. So I really would like to leave this scene untouched so you guys can go check it out yourself until we get back to school and we get a character that's a complete joke. I feel if someone's going to break my enjoyment of the show, it is definitely going to be this character. She's in the middle of the cafeteria on a tablet, which she is using to video chat her mother during her lunch, and then she calls her father, who picks up right away, or I suppose maybe she hacked into his phone and well, the thing is, he just comes up and he's in the middle of his lunch as well, so it's very convenient and very annoying, really. And I want it to be over so I can just avoid dying inside. When it is over, though, we get to go to the open house night for the school, where both Courtney and Brainwave are hunting for each other. And I'm glad they set up the reasons why each would suspect the other to be there. Brainwave last episode asked why Courtney attacked his son, and Brainwave during this episode found her ID, although it was burnt, so all he can tell is that she has blonde hair. So he's just doing these little mind sweeps across the room, checking for anybody who's gonna, give off any red flags. So, past that, we get a subtle moment where Courtney's mother is asked to stand up. And Pat checks out her butt, and Courtney just stares at him directly in the eye, and I had a little giggle at that. It just some boyish humor, I would say, and it's good humor in my opinion. Past that, though, the hunt is back on. Everyone gets mixed around when the meet and greet section of the open house gets started, and we get various little character moments throughout this for a good, I'd say, 5, 6 minutes until Courtney eventually spots Brainwave, and he catches her thoughts because she just recognizes him, and instantly it's like light bulb, Brainwave, and he is just like, oh, Brainwave, that's me. And they come to a confrontation out in a hallway while everyone's in this gymnasium. Brainwave threatens her mother with death by stroke, which he can cause with his mind, unless he gets the cosmic staff. Um, Most people found him intimidating. Um, I found this a bit cheesy, actually, but you guys will quickly learn that I'm all about the cheesiness, so I still enjoyed the scene, even though not for the same reasons as others. It doesn't last too long, though, in case you don't care for the cheese life, because we get the final good reason in this episode as to why Pat is the best character in the show. When we get a moment where he asks Courtney to stay behind while he goes to face the villains on his own, with the knowledge that it's very likely he's not coming back. Pat goes down. You could see in his mind he's going down this route where he is most likely going to die, and since Courtney will be the only one who knows the reason why, she's to get the family and the staff out of Blue Valley right away. Um, Although Courtney is the star of the show, of course, and while she can't let Pat die, she also wants to avenge Starman, who she, at this point of the story, thinks is her father. Ultimately, it does come down to a bit of a pep talk with her mother that gets her really going. And here, near the end of the episode, we get our Stargirl in full costume, and I believe she looks fantastic. She quickly makes her way to the battleground where Pat tried to put up a fight, but was outmatched. And I gotta wonder how big this town is, because Pat gets from the house to the garage, and then from the garage to the school rather quickly, and then Courtney gets from the house to the school uh, in even faster time. Now, both Pat in the suit and Courtney with the staff can fly, so that does dramatically reduce travel time, but still, though. Um, okay, sorry about the silence, folks. Just looking over my notes here. And now here's where some people think she thinks that Stargirl grows full Mary Sue, and I can understand why, but I don't fully agree. Catches Brainwave off guard, and she only dodges things for about a minute. It's not like she was taking him on. They were getting going at it toe to toe or anything, or she was outclassing him. Uh, she once again she catches him off guard, and then she dodges for a minute, only to get pinned down by a bumper. So I don't think that's too much of a leap in logic. It's been clear from the very beginning of the show with the trophies and stuff that she's a world class gymnast, so she has a decent reaction time and decent physical abilities. And we also see that the staff itself is conscious in some way, shape, or form. So it's also kind of compensating for whatever she's lacking. So these are the reasons why I don't think she goes full Mary Sue. But again, I understand why people can come to that conclusion, especially after characters like Batwoman and Ray have just taken over television. So it ultimately comes down to if you personally believe that dodging for a minute is too much of a leap in logic. She does have an awkward line read at this moment as well, where she's just like, I'm Stargirl, but the question beforehand was something like, where's the staff? So again, that was just kind of awkward to me. So she's pinned down to the ground. Her staff is knocked out of reach, but here we have a moment with Pat where he turns on one of the headlights in his suit and temporarily blinds Brainwave, catches him again off guard, and gives Courtney the chance to grab the staff and just put it against his forehead. And I know she didn't know what she did at this point, because there's a scene later on where she's confused about the staff once again. So the staff being against Brainwave's forehead starts to short circuit his brain, and he gets all glowy and stuff, and gets knocked back. So this is the staff, I'm sure of, doing it all on its own with no input from Stargirl. And the battle was won. So just out of teamwork and luck, really. I once again, I personally don't believe any of this is out of the realm of possibility. It's fine. Some final bits of character development for the bully, because Courtney and Pat take his dad to the hospital, and the bully's just looking over his father in a coma. And we also get a little bit of character development between Courtney and Pat, where she names the robot Stripe, and she forces an acronym out of it, and I had a bit of a laugh there again. And I think this is the worst of the patronizing of the show, where she's just constantly calling Pat and the Stripe her sidekick. It's over quickly though, so once again, I think it's fine. I hope that I provided you guys with some decent entertainment, because we're done with the episode review with that. And if not, I'm open to all criticism. Just let me know what I can improve on in the comments down below. And for more Stargirl reviews, be sure to subscribe. I'll see you guys next time. Take care.